If you're like me, Rebirth has been a little bit of a struggle lately. Look, I'm a good player, and I'll even admit that I've been struggling a little bit more than usual on Rebirth. It's been super sweaty and teams are stacking, but we're also dealing with teams that are playing super ratty and just sitting in corners. Last night, though, I decided to make a very simple change to my playstyle, and I put up stats like these. So today, we're going to be doing a hybrid breakdown. I'm going to be giving you some insight into what exactly I changed by my playstyle, while also breaking down a high kill Rebirth win in a 1.15 average KD lobby. Now, when we talk about the issues with Rebirth right now, what we're all kind of dealing with, we have two types of teams that are playing. We have teams that are stacking, playing hip to hip, and we have teams that are playing super ratty. Real quick, by the way, if you go and you have a little bit of an advantage, you should still play unpredictable or at least anticipate. This is a very easy re-challenge, very predictable play from this guy, gives me that window to get that down and thirst. But what we're dealing with is teams that are playing super ratty and teams that are playing super stacky. They're playing hip to hip. Now, how do we deal with these teams? And I decided to go back to a little bit of basics. Go back to playing very slow on my approach. Previously, I've always said that you want to play slow on your approach. Get that initial down and thirst, which then gives you information, and you want to keep that element of surprise. You want to keep that sense of, they don't know exactly where I am, but if you get that down and thirst, then you get information, then you can reposition based on that information. Now, understand that trios is a little bit easier than quads, especially when we talk about farming teams, because at the end of the day, if you keep your element of surprise, you get a down and thirst, then you focus on getting one more down and thirst, and then you focus on farming the last guy. So it is a little bit different in quads, but we still want to keep that same mentality. And the whole entire night, I kept telling myself, just slow down and stay alive. Kind of one of those where we just pick up one kill at a time. It's not any crazy clip right here. I'm not going to be 1v4ing anybody in this situation. I get the down, I get the thirst. I notice that the other one is on my level to the left. So I'm going to go ahead and push away here. We're going to be plating up and actually get shot in the back. But at this point, he can't really do anything. I'm going to push back to my teammates to get a little bit of cover here from them and have them kind of protect me a little bit. But, this gameplay is not going to be any 1v3 or 1v4 situations. I'm really trying to avoid those and avoid those situations where teams are stacking and playing in corners and you don't really anticipate them. So we're going to go ahead and pick this up right here, and we're going to go ahead and start pushing into prison, getting a little bit more in the action. That is one of the biggest things, is I am staying in the action here. I'm putting myself where people are. It's just how I'm actually approaching those fights. And this goes whether you want a solo, duo, solo duos is a little bit different, but I would say this is more for trios and quads. Duos, you can get away with it a little bit more. I'm able to get the down and thirst right there. Notice that one is over to my left, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that player. And I want to focus on a clean first kill, as clean as possible, taking as little of damage. And going back to what I was saying about trios and quads, this applies whether you're playing by yourself or you are playing with a squad, playing with 3 or 4 people. And look, I get that not everybody's good enough to split at this point, and you're progressing to get better. But yes, there is a certain sense of wanting to keep that element of surprise and not letting that team know you're actually here. Right here, I'm trying to see what I can find, and you're going to see exactly how this plays out. I'm going to end up taking damage from one that shoots me from above. I'm not in a good position, so I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to push back inside. I've got cover. I'm going to replay, and then I'm going to figure out how I can re-engage that fight. I'm going to go ahead and clear this, and I don't really have information, unfortunately, because of the radar jammer, but we're going to be in the action. We're going to go ahead and figure out how we can reapproach this fight. And this gameplay is just one kill at a time. And I popped off for a few 20 bombs. And look, I'm not popping off for 30 bombs and 40 bombs here. But I think, as I always say, 20 is the number that we want to be shooting for. Now, right here, I'm going to let one more ping go on the UAV because I challenged this guy. He's by himself, right? So this guy's most likely flying in because he's not really on water tower. This guy is on water tower. So I'm going to go ahead and take the free kill. And I just want to stay alive as long as possible, not put myself in bad situations, which kind of goes into pushing versus getting pushed. It is a tip that I talk about pretty often here. You got to remember that you need to get information up. You need to be pushing teams so that you can be the one in control of the fight, so that you can be playing patient until you can get that initial knock. And we're going to see that right here. Previously, a few days ago, what I probably would have done is I would have probably pushed these 2 players immediately with an SMG. I'd probably get one down. The second one then shoots me, and this third guy gets me. Instead, I end up going down. There's nobody to save me. Instead, we're going to play a little bit more patient. I'm trying to get an easy knock here. So I'm keeping track of where they're kind of moving to. I'm using audio cues, trying to get that clean down and thirst. And what you're going to see here is This first guy pushes out, so I think that he is the clean down and thirst. I'm able to break him, which actually buys me time right here. That person's not going to be any more concerned. I immediately hear one pushing ladder. Right here, we anticipate we're able to get the down and thirst. Now, as we get the thirst, we don't take any damage there, so I'm in a good spot, right? They're separated, so I'm not dealing with a team that's stacked, and I notice that one is on my level. Now, the difference here is that this guy knows the general area that I am, but he doesn't know what my next move is. I know exactly where he is. I know he's on my level. I'm able to anticipate around that corner, and I just hit my shots there and execute. The last guy is all the way over in the shack, and I've got nothing to worry about. So there you really see how I keep that element of surprise. I slow down on my approach, and even though they are getting closer to me, they don't necessarily know that I'm actually there. So I'm still able to keep that element of surprise and keep pushing. Am I camping? No, I'm playing patient on my approach before I can go about repositioning and gathering that information about where exactly they are. So we're patient on the approach, we get a down and thirst, then we start to reposition, and then we start to play a little bit quicker to figure out where those other enemies are and where we want to put ourselves to go ahead and challenge them. Now we're going to go ahead and push over to control here, see what we can find. Nothing crazy here. We've got 9 kills, and we still have plenty of time. Second circle hasn't even started closing. Now I'm going to go ahead and buy a UAV here. I've got just enough money. We're going to buy UAV. Once again, you're going to see this in action. Notice that 2 are across the street, 1 is over to the left. Now, and I want to bring up one more point here in a second, but I'm able to get the down and thirst, then we're going to immediately challenge this next guy. We're going to get the down and thirst right here. Now we're going to go ahead and challenge across the street. And notice that they're stacking. Okay, this is actually a good time for me to bring this up. Teams stack when they are in danger. Let me repeat that. Teams stack when they are in danger. So the moment that you shoot somebody and they go down, teams start to play closer together. Now, the moment that you shoot somebody and they don't go down, teams really start playing closer together, which is why the element of surprise is so important. So in trios, right, I'm able to get that first down and thirst. Now notice that these 2 players are already starting to stack. They're already starting to get closer together because I'm able to keep that element of surprise. But at this point, I only need 1 other kill here before I think about farming this team. So I'm able to hit shots right there. Now, what happens if I go down in this situation? Well, I'm actually probably dead if I go down. I'm not going to have time for a self-revive. But in this situation, let's play the damage component, right? I take a lot of damage here. Notice I have plenty of cover to stay in control if I need to. Now, I get the down. I'm going to quick reposition around this way. I'm going to use the cluster strike to my advantage. Notice he gives up. Last one is over by the boat. Real quick, if you are looking to get better at Rebirth, just consider hitting that subscribe button down below. My whole goal is to help you get better. I do videos every single day. I live stream on YouTube 4 days a week. So if you want to know when I'm posting and going live, make sure you turn on that notification bell. So far, we've talked about patient on the approach, repositioning after we get that first initial knock, and you really see how it is playing out. Now, we've got 11 kills. We've got 6 other teams. We're farming well, and we're just going to keep putting ourselves in the action. Now, TCAP comms to me that there's one team on the other side of prison. So on this back side of prison by Water Tower, there is a team. So we're going to go in and pinch this a little bit. We're going to play this together. This is one of those situations where we have a few teams around. They're kind of in a weird spot. Prison's really tough to challenge. So we're going to go ahead and tackle this together. Right here, I get the down. Now, this is a little bit of execution, but if I don't get this player down, then all of a sudden they can stack me, right? So if I don't get that first player down, he's going to reposition around, potentially challenge me. All of a sudden I go down. Now, I do get that first player down, which allows me to get the second player. Important note here, when I get this thirst, notice where the 2 dots are. There's one on my level and there's one below me over this way. So immediately you need to understand that there are 2 teams here because that dot obviously did not match the guy I just killed. Now we have basically people all around here. I'm going to go ahead and jump down here. By the way, can you fall? I know that I can survive that fall. It's one of my favorite series to do on on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. I know that I can fall there, which means I don't have to pull my parachute. Now we're just going to go ahead and execute right here. And you see how based on that information, I'm in a good spot, but I haven't really had, that was kind of the first tough situation that I've been put in. And a little bit of that was based on not necessarily having the information of where everybody else was around me. So we're going to go ahead and push up this way. We're able, that's just execution, being able to hit shots. Notice that I'm not in any danger at the moment. So we're going to go ahead and start pushing over that way a little bit. We're going to start putting ourselves in positions to challenge that next guy because, again, they are a little bit split. Now we're able to get the break right there, and notice there's a lot of people. This is a great example of not putting myself in a bad position. We're able to get one right there. everybody's around me, right? There's so many people around me, and it's almost kind of too much information to process, right? So you have below, I mean, hindsight being 2020, being able to look back on this, but below on my level. So I don't push this. I don't drop down because I'm kind of putting myself in a situation where I'm going to be shot from multiple angles. Instead, I'm trying to see what I can find. Now I go ahead and push this one straight below me, and you're going to see how this situation where we talk about that element of surprise and that approach really plays into your favor, because I shoot, I give away my element of surprise, and now I end up dying, right? So there you see, up to this point, I played really well. I played really strategic. I slowed down. I was good on my approach. Here, I gave away my element of surprise. I gave away my positioning, and I end up going down right there because that guy knows where I am. He can turn. He can shoot. Now, we see a bunch of people over control. I'm going to be totally honest. I'm going to end up going down right here again, and then we're going to focus on how I regain and how we still win this. But communication tower goes off. I'm full plated. I just put myself in a bad spot here. I just try to challenge this team with very little cover. I should have pushed further in. I probably should have pushed towards prison, but what ends up happening is I get shot from this guy right on roof there. That's a little bit of a tough spot. I didn't really put myself in a good position. Now, as we're flying back in here, I've got 15 kills. I got 3 other teams. I'd really love to get loadout, kind of drop back where I am. And I know that if I can get loadout, I could potentially challenge these guys. It's a little bit of high risk, high reward. Respawn is disabled, but we're going to go ahead and do it. Oh, we got a new subscriber right there. Okay, we got a new subscriber. Leo, thanks for the sub. I appreciate it. So we're going to go ahead and play it up real quick, and then we're going to see what we can find. Now, I know that guy's over here. Actually, I don't even play it up. I just challenged. But I want to highlight this guy right here, okay? So I'm able to get this guy down. He's going to go down in a second. But notice that this one right here is pushing. So I'm actually going to go ahead and play this a little bit more aggressive, because what I don't want him to get to, I don't want him to get to one of these headies right here. At that point, it makes it's a very difficult challenge. So I'm actually, like, if he's on this heady right here, that's almost an impossible situation for me to win. So I actually have to beat him to this spot, which I do. And now we're able to challenge around this corner. But because I was able to get that first clean kill, I can at least go challenge even though I only have 2 plates. Obviously, I wish I had another plate in. But if I take damage from that first guy, then I'm not in a good position to actually challenge that guy. We've got 16 kills. By the way, he buys back. Pretty obvious rotation, or pretty obvious spot that he wants to go, right? He's probably going to want to go back rooftop. So I'm actually going to pop Deddy here, use that to my advantage. I hate Deddy. I wish they would take it out. It's very broken, but it's always been a part of Call of Duty, so I think it's going to be in there. But we're able to take that guy by surprise, keep that element of surprise. We noticed the last one's actually flying in. Now he's going to go ahead. There's going to be one more guy around the corner here. I'm going to hear him in a second. Actually, you hear one fly in, which is super unfortunate. There's somebody that pulled their parachute, which is super unfortunate for that guy. I don't think it was that guy. It might have been. I guess he cut his chute and then dropped down. But now we have one flying in. So we've got 18 kills here. We've got 2 other people. Not really sure where they are. Where's our power position? Where's our cover here? Well, we technically kind of want to be across the street by the shack, and then that will put us in a good position to actually start to figure out where these people are. Now, what I need to do here, and why I'm late rotating, is because there's not a lot of cover here. There's not a ton of cover, so I need to make sure that this area behind us is clear. The moment I know this area behind us is clear, then we know everybody else is kind of down the hill. So you're going to see that play into effect. I actually don't check that way. TCap is able to get the down in a second. I'm kind of in a weird spot. We're actually going to help TCap because TCap's got a pretty good game going here. So I am going to shoot that guy, but TCap's going to get the snipe. Last one's in the shack. I'm going to go ahead and let him get that kill here. So we probably could have had 20, but TCap's my duo partner, so we're going to go ahead and let him get the 23 kill game. I hope you found today's video helpful. As I always say, let's get better today, and I will see you tomorrow.